Good morning and welcome to the January 29th Friday Facts and Fun. So today we are going to work on our CyberGenerations program again, and today's session is on password management. So what are we going to learn today? First of all, we're going to discuss how safe is your password. We're going to look at password creation guidelines. We're going to look at password management systems, at two-factor authentication, and what steps you need to take after an account breach. These little boxes on your screen talk about data compromise and about cybercrime. And these come from, as you can see, the Bloomberg.com news features from 2018. Again, we're working from the 2018 book, so some of these may be a little dated, but you can know that they haven't gone away. We still are having cybercrime. So first, I'd like to start off with a little story. Susan was very active online. She especially liked the convenience of online shopping and managing her bank card from home. Susan had used the same single password for her personal accounts for many years. She didn't want to have to use more than one password. It was too much hassle. She was convinced that one password was perfect for her online activity. One day, Susan attempted to log into her personal email, but found that she wasn't able to log in. That seemed odd to Susan, so she tried to log into her online bank account to see if maybe she had typed her password incorrectly. Susan was relieved to find that she was able to get into her online checking account, but soon realized she had a mysterious withdrawal for $500. What had happened? After speaking to her bank over the phone, it was confirmed that the bank's customer database had been breached earlier in the day. They had sent out an email warning customers of the compromise, but of course Susan wasn't able to see the warning. Susan soon realized that whoever had access to her bank account information had also changed her email password. Susan thought this only happened to other people. What could she do? So sadly, this little story is not unique. It happens to a lot of people. There are data breaches with companies large and small. So for us to protect ourselves, we need to learn to manage our passwords. And this is why it's important to use separate ones for each online account you have. What different types of accounts do you have online that have passwords and that you'll need to have different passwords for? Obviously, most of us have email accounts. We have social media accounts like Facebook or Instagram, Pinterest. We have our banking and investment accounts, although some people really don't do that online, and that's fine. If you can manage those without having an online account, that's even safer. Healthcare data. More and more, there are patient portals that you can access for your doctor or your hospital, and your healthcare data is there. You need passwords to access those. There are shopping accounts. Many people have an Amazon account and buy online or other accounts. And then there are personal information accounts with maybe just a local business you deal with, but you have an account with them that your personal information gets put in for discounts or a savings. So all of those have passwords, which means it's vitally important that we know how to handle our passwords correctly and to keep them safe. The chart that I'm going to show you here is this: how safe is your password? So as you can see, this is about hackers' ability to guess your password or to use algorithms and computer software to generate a password and make it be the right one. If your password is 6 characters long, for example, ABC123, it can be hacked in 3 minutes. 7 characters, ABC1234, can take up to 5 hours to hack. 8 characters, ABC 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, can take up to 3 weeks. 9 characters, ABC 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5 years. 10 characters, ABC 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 526 years. Now, obviously, the examples here, the ABC and numbers, are very simple passwords. But the more characters in your password, the stronger it is. Complexity in passwords is a good thing. Although not every site you visit that wants a password allows it, each have their own rules about setting passwords. Adding uppercase letters, lowercase letters, numbers, and symbols. If you can put all 4 in your password, it increases the complexity, and that increases the security, the hardness for a hacker to be able to guess it. As you can see from this on the screen. And if you're going to use a symbol or number, it's recommended that you put it somewhere in the middle of the password to kind of break up the line, the letters and numbers, to put the symbol in the middle. Or if you are just being able to use letters and numbers, because some sites don't allow symbols, to put that number in the middle. Another way to make your password not only a little more difficult, but also easier for you to remember, is to use what we call a passphrase. And the example I'm going to use here, some of you will remember from the 80s and 90s, the phrase, "Where's the beef?" So how can I turn that into a password? If I take the capital W-H from where, I put D and the at sign, at symbol, above the letter 2, for the, and then for the word beef, I use a small b, I substitute 3s for the e's, small f, and a question mark, which is another symbol. So the password ends up being capital W, D, at sign, B, 33F, question mark. That will help you remember it. Oh yeah, that's my password for that. Where's the beef? And you're more likely to remember how you abbreviated it. Make sure that it's a random sentence that others might not guess. I mean, obviously don't go using this one since I just told it to you, but pick something that's important to you, but that not everyone will know. Passwords, we should not double dip. So it's important not to use the same password like Sarah did in our story on everything, because if a hacker does break your password, they have access not to that account only, but to every other account you've used that password on. So again, important not to use the same password on everything or most things. And it's a big problem because 73% of people do actually use the same password for all or most of their accounts. Again, one breach in one system could make all your other accounts vulnerable as well. Having multiple passwords can be hard to remember. So a good simple trick is to start with a base password and then add an abbreviation at the beginning or at the end to remind you what the account is for. The example I'm going to show you on the screen now is a base password of Ronald, ! 23 $. So to use that base password for my Gmail email account and Facebook, my social media account, one simple way to do that is to add at the end of the Ronald! ! 23 $, add GMA for Google Mail, add FAC for Facebook. Again, you can do that at the beginning. You could say GMA and then the base password. Change it around so that you're not doing it always the same way. Again, to make it harder to hack, but you therefore have a base password that you remember, but you've made it different to make it harder to hack in different accounts. Important password trick is to change your passwords regularly. Again, I want to do a little a little test for us here. According to a 2016 Pew Research Center survey, these answers were in response to password behavior for adults 55 and older. I only change my password if it's required. And lots of sites do make you change it every 3 months, 6 months, a year. I've had the same password for years. It's secure enough. It's too much to remember new passwords. I never log into my online accounts, so it's safe. I only changed my password for accounts at companies where breaches have occurred. So as we've already discussed, only changing your passwords when it's required may not be keeping you safe. We should regularly, on our own, change our passwords at least once every year, if not every 6 months, in order to protect our accounts. Using the same password for years is not secure enough in an age when hackers are working 24/7 to try to get into people's accounts. And yes, it can be difficult to remember new passwords, which is something we'll deal with shortly. I never log into my online accounts, so it's safe. Just because you're not logging in doesn't mean those hackers aren't out there trying to get in. So, yes, that one is really a really fable. And just because the company's had a breach and you change your passwords there, doesn't mean you shouldn't change your passwords in other accounts. Because again, if there was a breach, they got that password, especially even if it is a base password with something extra at the end, that gave them a head start on cracking that password. So you should change all your accounts with different passwords for every account and changing them every 6 to 12 months. How do I remember all this? Okay, so there's ways that we can do that. This is from PCMag.com, which is a computer magazine, and this is their top 11 picks for password keepers, password management systems. So you can see Keeper, LastPass, Dashlane, Bitwarden, LogMeOnce, Password Boss, 1Password, RoboForm, Sticky Password, McAfee, and Zoho. So that's a list of companies that provide password management. You can, by clicking on that link and looking at those, some are free, some cost money. The article in PC Magazine also discusses the pros and cons of each of the softwares to make your decision. But that is just a tool to help you keep up with all those multiple passwords and still allow you to do the other things you need to do. Keep them different, change them. Another more recent way to help protect your password is what's known as two-factor authentication. And that is, many accounts now allow you to opt in, to choose this extra second level of security. And what it does is, once you put in your login name, username, and your password, it will ask for an additional security. It will generate a unique access code or PIN, send it as a text to your phone, or some companies provide other devices, hardware token or other something else, but generally send it to your phone. Then you have to use that code to enter to get all the way into your account. It's that second level of protection. Some antivirus software allows you to have an anti-theft feature so you can track your phone in case you lose it. This is on the accounts where you have two-factor authentication, and if you lost your phone, you wouldn't be able to get that code and you wouldn't be able to sign into your account. So some of the antivirus softwares help you keep track of your phone. Remember, we talked last week about the importance of protecting our personal data, like our device, like our phone. Also, you should be careful about this text message because some hackers can intercept those, and some even go so far as to use that personal information and move it to a new SIM card. And in other words, they sort of clone your phone so that they can have access to all yours. So two-factor authentication has pros and cons, but it is just another way to help you protect your passwords. Okay, so just say despite everything you can do on your end, your account has been compromised. It was a data breach at the bank. Nothing you did, but the bank had a data breach and they got your user ID and password through the bank. We need to be sure that we are reachable. So they'll notify you most often immediately through an email or phone call, and then normally a letter to follow up to make sure you are aware that that account's been compromised. But if you notice your account has been compromised, and what are the signs of that? One of the first signs is you have trouble logging into an account you use all the time. Might mean that someone's accessed that account and changed the password. Again, your online applications will send you notices about suspicious activities, like your account's been accessed from a different device or from a strange location. Always verify the activities and change your password immediately. So sometimes we can get irritated that we get a little notice, this purchase was made at this business. Did you make it? But that is the business trying to protect us. Our bank or debit card, whatever, was used there. And it's not somewhere where you would normally shop. So we just need to be aware. And if we get a notice and we know we didn't make it, yes, contact that company, contact the bank immediately to try to protect yourself. Sometimes, especially on social media accounts, your friends might alert you that your account's compromised. So you've been on Facebook and you're a friend with Jane over here, and you're a friend with John over here, and you're a friend with Sam over here. You suddenly get a friend request from Sam, and you're like, I'm already friends with Sam. Might be a sign that someone has hacked his account and is trying to send things out through his account. As a friend, let him know, hey, I just got a friend request from you. Don't do it through Facebook. Phone call, visit them, and let him know, hey, I just got this friend request from you, and since we're already friends, I thought it was suspicious. That way he can secure his account again. If you're the person whose account has been compromised, what do we do? Well, very first, immediately, if you are able to, change the password for that account. And that is what, when your account gets spoofed like that in Facebook, go in and change your password on your Facebook account immediately. Many websites have either a search box or a contact us option, and you can look there for how to change your password. Again, you should do that immediately. Then, as soon as you've changed that password, contact the service, whether it's Gmail, Yahoo, Facebook, whatever, for support and to report that account breach. Because if your account's been breached, it's likely that others have been too. The contact information for doing those reports is generally found in the upper right corner of the web page. It's the little gear-looking box. You can click on that and find it. And they have options to contact the company by email or by phone. And remember, when you contact them, legitimate company employees will never ask you for your password or other sensitive personal information. And then finally, check other accounts to make sure they've not been compromised. Because again, maybe you used that base password and the hacker figured that out and did put the Ronald $23 GMA. Well, he may have tried then the same with FAC for Facebook. So you need to make sure you've changed all your accounts. Okay, so that is our lesson today. This is our review. Unique password for every account. 10 plus mixed characters to make it a strong password. Possibly a passphrase, easy to remember, hard to steal. Monitor your accounts. Again, back to I never do anything online. I never get onto my online account. That's dangerous. You need to monitor it to make sure no one else is getting onto that account. Use a password management system to help remember passwords safely. I mean, writing them down, that piece of paper can get lost. Someone else could access it. The password management system is safer. Consider two-factor authentication. Change your passwords every 6 to 12 months and use different passwords for different accounts. Next week, we'll be looking at common internet threats. See you then.